Time for Sit Down with Presiding Commissioner Darrell Skiles. We do it on the first and third Fridays of the month. And, sir, good to have you in.
Good morning.
Oh,
Better get my microphone.
I don't know how that thing got up there.
Yeah. Good morning, Stan. It's great to
morning,
be
sir.
here. A beautiful, beautiful Friday morning in Dade County.
Here we are in December already, my
Cannot
friend.
believe it. Absolutely cannot believe it. Here we are.
Yeah.
Yep. So lots
is,
going on in Dade County. Although it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but
an interesting year this
yeah.
year.
Oh,
It's been very different. I mean, even when you look back at the year and how many different things have occurred, and still got COVID still hanging around, and now there's some RSV going on in town and some flu,
some serious flu and
yeah,
respiratory virus.
Yeah, some different stuff going around
especially for
town.
young
So
people.
hope everybody stays healthy for the holiday season. And your Thanksgiving, did it go well?
Yes, very well. Yep, had kind of ended up with two family Thanksgivings. Yep. So went very well. Had a great time, and I hope everybody else did too.
Two chances to eat.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway.
Very good.
Anyway. So,
all right, very good. Well, I guess one of the things we might want to talk a little bit about is right going into that Thanksgiving holiday, the commission did not meet that Monday because you were at a MAC conference. That's every year, virtually at that time. They have it right before Thanksgiving.
Right. It's the Missouri Association of Counties annual conference, and the Missouri Association of Counties, as we've talked about, is made up of basically representatives from all the various offices in the counties. So every year, almost every year, they usually meet starting on Sunday before Thanksgiving, and it usually runs Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Get out a little before noon on Tuesdays. This year they actually had some committee meetings started about 3 o'clock on Saturday that some people went up to. So anyway, but we had several from Dent County that were in attendance. All three commissioners, Commissioner Larson, Commissioner Mowbray, and I, the county clerk, county treasurer, our assessor, and our recorder of deeds were all there. That we all can vote because we approve. Elect new officers for the Missouri Association of Counties, and we approve policy and legislative policies then to pursue and work on for the year. So it's an important meeting, but it's upheld every year up at Lake of the Ozarks, has been for some time at what used to be Tantera Resort. It's now Margaritaville Resort and Conference Center, and it's a great center. If you've never been there, it works out well where they can house everybody because as you can imagine with and I haven't heard the final figure how many people were there, but when you're talking about the vendors plus all the office holders that are there, we're looking at probably in the neighborhood of 500 people there in attendance. It's a great trade show where vendors that sell anything and everything that all the office holders might avail themselves to, and the county commissioners, and equipment vendors and things. I think we had about somewhere around 100 plus vendors that had displays down in the exhibit center. So
far cry from 2 years ago, and it wasn't one.
Yeah, ended up having to, because of COVID. So they had to basically cancel and redo. So, but at any rate, it was a very good conference. The MAC staff does a fantastic job putting on events. And I just wanted to kind of look there. I've got the book here with me, the program, and to give you an idea. I mean, it is a resort place, but there's not much time to enjoy the amenities of the resort because we're busy in meetings all the time. Like I said, there were some committee meetings started at 3 o'clock on Saturday, but then the main conference got started on Sunday with the Missouri Association of Counties had a board meeting at 10 o'clock. Our County Commission Association board meeting was at noon. Then at 2 o'clock, then the entire County Commission Association of Missouri, we had that meeting and had election of new officers that I had to preside over on that, being past president. The Public Administrators Association met, Collectors Association met. Then our MAC Trust, which is our work comp provider, had its annual meeting at 3 to 4 o'clock on that day. And then we had the exhibit hall then opened and had dinner provided down there for everybody, and you could go around and visit with all the exhibitors. On Monday, the main event gets started on Monday morning. We had actually the former Under Armour vice president of global marketing, and he's got a deal called Team Never Quit. And he was a speaker and his guest speaker, and he went into detail on how Under Armour kind of got its start and how it grew to such prominence and through their marketing and things. We had representatives from the Missouri State Tax Commission then visited with us. We had a speaker talked on dangerous cyber trends. You know how that's important going on. One of the highlights for that morning was at 10 o'clock. Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe visited came and talked to us, and we always enjoy having the Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, and he's a former senator, lives right over here on the edge of Phelps County, but most of his farm's in Pulaski County, so we consider him a local boy, and and he's about as down to earth as it gets.
Yeah, I was going to say, very, very cordial man.
Yep. Then they had breakout sessions started, impact of serious mental illness on Missouri counties, the changing landscape of renewable energy taxation, human resources practices, a cyber plan and why it applies to your county. Those were all breakout sessions that we could go to that morning. And then later that morning, I had to preside over this. Dent County and most counties our size, Phelps County, all the counties down in this region are what's called third-class counties. The county's divided up into classes depending on your population and assessed valuation.
Right.
So we generally have one meeting. It's called just a meeting of counties by classification. And I was given the job of presiding over that meeting. And it basically is just a very informal discussion. Anybody that's got some thoughts, questions, issues that's going on in your third-class counties. I had a microphone. I had Herman Kelly, commissioner down in Shannon County, help me with another microphone, and we go back and forth to whoever's got a question or comment or something about what's going on in your counties and how do you all address this. And basically, I can tell you when it's over, most everybody, different ones, are saying it's one of the best sessions up there because it's real people on the ground.
Facing real situations.
Facing the real situations and how they handled this and what's worked and what hasn't. So it was good. Then and this is all just on Monday morning. Then at noon again, the exhibit hall's open. We go down there for lunch, visit with the exhibitors. We had breakout sessions again in the afternoon, and one of them was having to do with security in public buildings, and the title of that was "The World Isn't Scary, but It Is Uncertain." So anyway, that was one session, and these are all going on at the same time, so you have to pick one. Another one was how nationwide insurance can protect employees' retirement savings. Another one had to do with sunshine law and social media, and Travis Elliott McAttorney was the main speaker for that one. Another one on how to make long-term investments with ARPA funds. Then the Missouri Association of Counties, then we had our annual business meeting. Then we had ARPA payments, another meeting that evening on ARPA payments, and the LATCF payments for PILT counties that receive PILT.
Right.
Discussion on that and how those funds should be handled and how they shouldn't be handled. They warned us not to mix those funds with the ARPA funds, so that was interesting. That was all on Monday. Monday evening they have an annual awards banquet where they hand out awards and recognize folks for different accomplishments, and then install the new officers, swear them in. Then on Tuesday, we have another general session that starts with everybody, and at 8:20, we had the governor of Missouri always comes and speaks, and Governor Parson always does a great job. He's a former county official, former sheriff of, I think, Polk County, and so he understands county government as well as any governor that we've had for a long time. So he spoke, and then we also had an interesting fellow from the National Association of Counties named John Losh. And John Losh actually has worked in Congressman Jason Smith's office when Jason first went to Washington, D.C. Okay. So very familiar with Washington and what goes on there in Congress. But he works for the National Association of Counties now. So he spoke on the bipartisan infrastructure law and all the intricacies of that and things we might want to keep in mind. Then finished up that morning again with Travis Elliott doing one session for everybody just on general things in law and legal matters pertaining to counties. Most of his session that he spoke with had to deal with the new marijuana law and issues that it raises and conflicts that it raises. And quite frankly, it raises direct conflict with our Second Amendment rights. And he pointed that out, and how they're going to iron that out is yet to be seen. There's going to be some constitutional battles to be fought on that. But at any rate, you can imagine it raises issues as far as use of marijuana in the workplace and what's allowed, what's not, and what you can do and different things. So that was an interesting session. And then they break out into the various office holder associations into lunches, or not lunches, a late breakfast is what they called it, a brunch meeting, where we, I don't know what the others did, but our county commission association, I was responsible for swearing in our new officers. We approved our resolutions, legislative resolutions for the year and so on. And highlighted our commission training that will be coming up March the 1st. So got out of there about 11 o'clock on Tuesday and headed home. So makes for a fast, busy couple or 3 days.
And then right before Thanksgiving.
Right before Thanksgiving. Yeah, right in the middle of deer season too, I might add. Really gripes me every year, but that's okay. That, in my opinion, don't go too far on the. Well, that's just the date that they can get to have it there. 1 year, because of a scheduling thing, we had it in October. But at any rate, that's why we didn't meet at all on Monday before Thanksgiving, and of course Thanksgiving was Thursday, and so that's
Courthouse is closed.
Courthouse was closed. So anyway, so that's Missouri Association of Counties.
So
yeah, while it's held at or Margaritaville Resort, there's you don't get much time. You have no time actually to enjoy the part of the resort, but it is nice that they can house everybody there at the resort. Now, some of them are in buildings. If you've never been there,
it's spread out.
It is a spread out deal. Has to be, but at any rate, and that's actually where our commissioners training will be also. But there'll just be about 300 of us at the commission training, and they'll be able to get everybody in the same building. And there was a great round of applause and clapping, happy that the commission training was going to be there this year. We could get everybody in one hotel building.
There you go.
It's always tough. So anyway, that was last week.
But those meetings are very important. I think people say, well, the commission just goes up there and they meet a couple times a week. They don't do anything. Here's a 3-day conference, and in some cases, depending upon if in your situation, being an elected official or being an official, you may have almost a 4.5-day conference by the time it's all said and done.
Right.
You're up there and you're away from your family, and then here's Thanksgiving week coming up. But it's a great opportunity for these commissioners to meet up with some of these vendors that they may not have seen now in 2 years or 3 years, even with COVID, and get back on track with things available to them that they may not be aware of, Darrell. And in today's society, you better be aware of things because
it changes fast.
It changes overnight.
Yes. And it gives you a chance also to meet up with and touch base with the other elected officials in other counties about what's going on there and things to do and not to do, that you discover some way that what they done something and it really turned into a bad deal, so you can avoid that. So it's just it's a good event, and I mean, we enjoy it, but man, am I glad to be out of there and headed home when it's over. I can tell you. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway,
only so much you can take, right?
That's
Sometimes you just need a little solitude.
Yep.
Of course, Thanksgiving is not usually a good time for solitude.
When I was leaving, somebody asked me, said, "So what are you going to do when you get home?" And I said, "Actually, I've got a blind date for this afternoon." I was getting in my deer blind. I was going to sit there very quiet, nobody else around.
Nobody around. Just I can hear nature. Calm down and relax.
Sit there and watch that. So I did. I got home, went to the blind, sat there for a while. I could have shot a deer, but you know what? I thought, no. He'll be a nicer, better deer next year. So anyway, but that was it. So I ended that day on a blind date.
Very good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about health insurance with the county employees.
Health insurance, you would have to bring that.
Well, I didn't really want to bring it up, but it's kind of one of the things that the commissioners did vote on last week and kind of establish.
Right, and our health insurance, we are in a consortium with several other counties to try to help keep rates under control, and even in spite of that, we'll be looking at a 20% increase per employee per month for our health insurance coverage, going from somewhere around $740 to somewhere around $775 or so a month per employee. You go multiplying that out times 60, 70 employees, that's a chunk of change every year. And when you get a 20% deal added onto that, that is a significant whack on the budget. But what we have to do every year is pick the plans, what we're going to provide and for them. So previously, and we just went ahead and went back with exactly what we had. It'll be a $4,500 deductible for each employee, and it's an 80-20 copay, so this isn't any Cadillac deal. The county does, now the employees actually can opt to, with a deduction from their paycheck, buy that deductible down to $3,000 or even $2,000. I don't think anybody does the $2,000 because if you do the math, it really doesn't
make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make much sense. Other than if they want to do it, the county appreciates it because it really takes us back off the hook.
Well, sure.
Because what it is, the county goes ahead and will pay $2,500 of an employee's deductible after the employee has met the first $2,000 of the deductible. So anyway. And several people take advantage of that to buy that deductible on down to $3,000, because that way the employee's only responsible for $500 of it. Now, if they want to go ahead and buy it on down to the $2,500 deductible, well, then they have.
That'd be great.
They have no deductible, but they still have to. Anyway, it doesn't make dollar sense. So at any rate, we went ahead with the same plan, same deal, and this is with United Healthcare through our Magic Consortium. Yeah, yeah. So got that taken care of.
Very good, very good. That's always interesting when health insurance gets negotiated and then talked about. You never know what your rate's going to be, and then when they come and tell you, well, hey, you don't have much of a rate increase, and then all of a sudden, a year later, you have a 20% increase.
Well, the good news on our deal, the way they've done this, it's actually broke into, even for the members of the consortium, 3 different levels of what your premiums will be, and what your level, where the level you're at, will be based on your claims to premiums paid the year before. And so if you have a train wreck on claims, your deal, then you'll be dropped down to, we have an A, B, and C level for premiums, and so we are at the lowest level. We have the best level. There are others that are much higher.
But a couple of years back, we were not at the lowest level.
We were not as lucky, right? So it cost us. So we look at it, and it gets bid out every couple or 3 years. And insurance companies come in and go, they say, if you change all that over, drop them, and go with us, we'll beat that rate and we'll go on. But you don't have a guarantee what the rate will be next year. And counties do this, and over we find then the next year they're hung out to dry, because then they'll see a 50% increase or some horrific increase in rate. And you're at their mercy. And if you do have a bad year, you are of claims, then you are totally at their mercy, because nobody's going to take you, and the company's pretty much free to just gouge you with whatever. At least through the consortium, it's going to be a group deal. Not everybody's going to. If you have a worst case scenario, you're not going to get hit near as bad as what you would if you were just out there on your own on the limb. So it's worked, and but we'll see. But the other part is, in the rules and the laws of our consortium, if you do drop out, decide you got a better deal, that's fine, take it and go. But I don't remember now if it's 3, 4, or 5. But there's a period of 3 years you can't get back in the consortium. You can't just drop out because you got a better deal, and then next year come back in. And anybody that gets added into the consortium, it has to be voted on by the other members of the consortium, and that's after a study is done of the claims they've got, ongoing claims. So anyway, that was the health insurance thing. We got that taken care of.
Very good, very good. We had some CART funds that were reported.
Yeah, let me get into here to the road and bridge thing, since we're talking about CART, and that is directly there with road and bridge.
Okay.
The road and bridge crews, they continue to do just the regular hauling of rock. One of the things they're doing is kind of finishing up what we call the Title II project down in the southeast corner of the county. That's all in the National Forest down there, but it's all county road, and it did qualify for $45,000 of National Forest monies to put new culverts in and more rock and get that and gravel. So they're finishing up getting that done. Otherwise, the crews have been installing new driveway pipes for some driveways going in, doing regular grading, cutting brush, etc. The new graders are in at McCoy, John Deere, and Cuba, and they should be here. I think they're scheduled for delivery this coming Wednesday. So finally, they'll be here. So anyway, now you mentioned CART, and that's we talk about it every month. County Aid Road Trust Funds, and that's your motor fuels tax, not a sales tax exactly. Nope, it's a per gallon tax. So at any rate, but every month, and we do have we got, I don't know, $750, nearly $800,000 budgeted in revenue that we look for that to bring in, which is very extremely important. So we watch that. November, our November CART funds were up about $11,300 over November of last year, and so year to date we're actually up about $76,600 over 2021, which. We're making these year-to-year comparisons, and we do it anyway, but they're kind of hard to do, because the last couple of years have been such an aberration of what's real and what's not because of COVID and all the stuff connected with that. But at any rate, at least our 2021 revenues are up about a little over 11.5% over what they were last year, and so we budgeted for them to be about the same as last year. So that's good news on that front.
And Darrell, people will say, well, that's because of the higher price of gas. CART funds don't make any difference the price of gas. You get the same amount of tax per gallon.
As the price of fuel goes up, it actually turns around and kind of hurts your CART funds, because it's a set amount per gallon. So as the price goes up, people tend to drive a little less. I do. I bet you do. You just do. You have less money. It's going to cost more everywhere you go, so people tend to drive just a little bit less.
That's right.
Now, it is it does reflect also in part sales tax, part of the sales tax on motor vehicles and trailers and trucks and things like that. And again, this is part of that is what most of that goes to MoDOT, but there is a part of that in the law where a small part of that comes back to counties and cities to help with cost of roads. But generally, as the cost of fuel goes up, you can see a kind of a negative backwards effect on your CART fund thing because people are just going to buy a little less fuel. Yeah. It's just the way that works. So, but at any rate, and we still have one more month to go. So
right.
So anyway.
Right. Very good. Okay. So a new furnace had to be put in down at the annex.
Yes, we had received word we're having trouble with the furnace at the annex, and the annex is over on the south side of 4th Street, across from the, many people, when we say annex, don't even know what we're talking about, but it's on 4th Street, right across from the city administrative offices, and it houses actually our juvenile offices, the public administrator, the coroner, and then actually we rent out one small office area thing at the front of it for the Russell House folks to operate out of. So, but at any rate, we did receive word the furnace was acting up and giving us trouble. They were able to service it and get it back in business, but it's one of them things that's on its last leg. So we did approve a $4,900 quote from Victor Furnace here in Salem to go ahead. They had one on hand that is exactly what's needed
right
there at that
size and
spot.
everything.
You know, in this day and age, this supply situation gets to be very frustrating. It would really be a tough situation to be in if the furnace gave up the ghost completely when we were having 0 temperatures and didn't have one and couldn't find one. It's just still a strange situation on some of this. So we got that approved to do. We also know, though, that there's 2 furnaces that actually, excuse me, actually heat the upstairs in the judicial building in the area where the extension office and the judge's offices are, and the extension conference room back there. There's actually 2 separate furnaces and things that take care of that for heating and cooling. And one of them furnaces is bad. We're going to be having to look at replacing it, but we'll look at that at least here in next year's budget and plan for that. But anyway, at least if that one that's giving trouble.
I couldn't wait on this one. This one had to be done.
Yeah, but we'll plan on getting that taken care of right away as well.
Yeah. So anyway, when you spoke about being on its last leg, you spoke with the people at Anderson Construction about Alexander Construction about our Christmas lights on our building.
Right. Tomorrow's the big Christmas parade, and when we finally light everything up, and I think the courthouse lights might have been on most of this week because they've been the crew from Alexander Construction. You know, we have a project with them for a lot of exterior work on the courthouse. We're going to end up with all new windows and different things. But for right now, what we've been asked them to do, if they could, and they did, they have a huge lift that brought in, gone completely around the building with the crews, electrical crews, trying to get those old Christmas lights back in operating order. This wind we've got, I'm going to tell you, I'm not making any bets or promises. I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, and I'll be up there and I'll be as disappointed as anybody if the wind gets the better of us and the lights aren't all on. But as of yesterday, all the lights were on and working great. And they said those Christmas lights are on their last legs. They're pretty.
They're probably beyond their last leg.
Yeah,
I mean, they're on their last breath.
They're just holding on by a hope and a prayer. Is about all it is.
Yeah. So anyway,
but that is. But you know, I really appreciate their efforts and hard work in trying to get that done, at least to get them. So hopefully by this time next year, if everything goes smoothly. Now, you know, when you're going to tear into, and most of the work we're going to do is all exterior, of course. The first thing we're going to do is reroute all the electric and get it underground coming into the courthouse. That way, then they can actually get around it to do all the rest of the work. It's pretty hard to go around that thing, and we found this out before with all the electric lines coming in through the air. So they're going to get it underground and get better service into the building. And then a lot of work, like I said, the windows, dormers, everything is going to look a lot better when we're done.
Are they going to try and do that change over the electric on a weekend or something?
I am suspected most likely so. Yeah. They'll have to coordinate that. Of course, you know, there's no way they would jump in and try to do it. But I mean, that's some work that's going to take place here as we get on further into the spring. Sure. And the first thing that's going to happen here right after Christmas is they're going to come in, a subcontractor is going to come in and put scaffolding around the building. It'll still be open. and they'll make accommodation for that to go in. But there's
Sure.
going to be scaffolding pretty much surround the building. They talked about doing just half the building first and then the other half, but there's a lot of brickwork and some things like that that's going to have to be taken care of and done first. Some of the old chimneys up above, up on the roof, are going to be taken down and got down below roof level so that they're no longer an issue and causing problems. Just a lot of work, but a lot of sprucing it up and getting
Right.
it fixed up.
So, if you have a contractor that gets working around the building, if you only do half of it, and they could go on and continue, but they can't because you don't have any scaffolding over
Right.
there. You
So,
slow the
yeah,
whole
I think
process
I
down.
think in the end they decided they're probably going to end up getting the scaffolding completely around it and go to work that way. So, and we know too, and people have said, "Boy, it looks like they're tearing up the concrete leading to the big lift." Yep, it's big, it's heavy, and it's broke the concrete up. That was part of the deal. They understand when they're done, the last thing that will be done. Couple of things will be done will be the new Christmas lights put on, and then repairing the yard and the concrete and things from construction damage. And there will be some collateral damage from that. That's just a given. You're not going to get it done without it. So, it's like saying you want a bulldozer to come in and do some work, but you don't want to see any bulldozer tracks. Well,
Yeah.
good luck with that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll just put some spray foam on them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just keep
So anyway,
keep that from happening.
But we're very pleased right so far anyway with Alexander Construction from over at Rolla, and and at least they're very close and quick to get a hold of and very responsive. So look forward to getting that done.
Very good. Very good. So, Denton County Collector, Ms. Shannon Van Kirk, came in because this is the time of year people are paying their taxes. And did want to announce that the extended hours for the collector after Christmas, so people can get in and pay their taxes if they want to do it in person. And remind them if they're going to mail
Yes.
them to make sure you get that postmark by the 31st. Otherwise,
That's right. Otherwise they're late,
penalties.
and there are by statute penalties that apply. Do you have those hours that she
I
gave
do.
there when they do? I thought you probably did. I didn't have those. That's fine. Yeah, the collector's extended hours will be on Tuesday the 27th, Wednesday the 28th, Thursday the 29th, and Friday the 30th. They will be open from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Courthouse generally closes at 4:30, but they will be open till 5:30 p.m. They're basically the last week of the year. And then again, just be sure that all mail, if they mail them in, is postmarked no later than December 31st. And be sure to take that mail inside the post office and have that mail stamped if you mail it. And remember, there is a drop box outside on the southwest corner of the courthouse where you can drop off your payments, and they will be marked received on time if they're in there on time. So on, you can pay online. There's numerous different ways of.
if you're not
doing
sure of that site, you just go to your tax paper that you received, and it tells you exactly how to pay online.
Yep.
There is if you are paying online, there are service fees to do that by credit card or by ACH check. So there are fees to that. So make sure you're aware of that.
And remember too, if for some reason you didn't get a tax bill, then that doesn't absolve you of the legal responsibility to pay the tax bill.
Right.
Things happen. Sometimes things get lost in the mail. They can mail it out, and that's all they can do. Just because you didn't get it doesn't mean you don't have to pay it. And if you don't pay it on time, there will be, and it's by the statute, has to be penalties applied for late payment of those. And
Right.
periodically, there'll be somebody come in, "Oh, I never got a bill, so therefore I shouldn't have to pay that."
Oh, wow, yeah.
And that don't work.
Oh, it
sorry.
doesn't?
It won't
Oh, I
work
was
for
gonna
me.
try that with the electric
It won't
and
work
stuff.
for you, Stan. Yeah. So, and it's.
But if you
and I know, and I
haven't
get
gotten
it,
a
it'd
bill
be
by now,
frustrating.
you should be calling.
You should
And-
call the collector's office or the assessor's office. Find out why you didn't get a bill. Because if you owned personal property or real estate, January 1 of 2021, you should have gotten a bill in the mail. Now, obviously, people move around enough, and sometimes, those bills get lost in the mail or eat up by a piece of equipment or something. I don't know what happens. The dog ate it. I don't know. But at any rate,
The bear
things-
took it out of your
things-
mailbox,
yeah,
right?
But at any rate, don't matter. Oh, you know what? Hey, I can tell you this. I have gone to the mailbox, picked my mail up. It was dark. Come in the house with it, and the next day realized that a letter had slipped out and was laying out in the grass at the edge of the mailbox. And luckily it caught there. I don't know that I ever lost any that blew on down the road, but this stuff's going to happen. So the point is, not getting a tax bill doesn't absolve you. Not getting it in the mail doesn't let you off the hook from having to pay it. And I always hate it when that happens for anybody. But that's the way it is, and that's the rules. And that's I'd have to pay the penalty. You would too, Stan. And that's just the way it goes.
It is not the responsibility of the collector to call you to see if you've got your bill.
No, they can't do that.
And it's not going to happen. So please double check. If you haven't gotten it, and you check your checkbook, if you paid it online or however you paid it, make sure that you have paid it. And do make sure you check it to make sure you pay the right amount. If you pay the wrong amount, you're still going to be subject to penalty and interest.
Right.
So read it carefully. Write it down a couple times if you're not quite sure. And if you can't see it, ask somebody else to read it for you as well.
If you have questions, issues, concerns about the tax bill as far as the assessed value of the personal property on it or your real whatever, and there's been a lot of question on that this year because of increase in assessments.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go in and visit with the assessor about those issues and get an explanation.
Right, very good.
So,
anyway. All right, Angie Curley told us that they're going to be swearing in the new officers that have been elected on December 30th, 10 o'clock.
Friday morning, December 30th, 10 a.m. Judge Randazzo will be swearing us all in. So look forward to that.
Very good. So that'll be coming up at the end of the month. Okay, so you had a...
Friday the 30th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Friday the 30th, 10 o'clock. You had a chance to meet up with Dent County and Salem Economic Development Director and temporary city administrator Sally Burbridge on an issue that the city is undertaking, but they need the county's support and just basically to let MoDOT know you guys are on board with this.
Right, that we support it. Every little bit helps. And what it is, they're applying for a downtown safety and beautification project grant, and several dollars. And it would be a real nice deal if they could get it to get some much needed work done in the downtown area.
It would come to about $990,000, a little bit over that.
Just under $1 million.
Yep.
So at any rate, she did ask if I'd be willing to sign a letter of support for the city to send in with their application, and she was getting all that together for Kelly Sink. Kelly Sink is working from MRPC, has been working on this application for them. So I did get with Sally, and we got a letter drawn up, and I got it signed for that we do support that. So glad to get that done, and appreciate again another area there where Sally's worked on the help for our community.
And the city's taking a nice aggressive approach with this because they do have a TAP grant, and they're using that TAP grant as the basis to try and get this revitalization
and TAP
grant.
is one of the MoDOT grants, and it's Transportation Assistance Program.
So I think their city's going to pay. I think I went back. I was looking at like $98,000. And if they can get $98,000 and get $990,000 for $98,000, that's a pretty good trade-off.
Somewhere around a 10% match.
Yeah.
So,
but they were going to have to pay the $98,000 with the TAP grant anyway. So what it ends up being is, with the TAP grant, Darrell, it actually becomes a 50-50 deal.
Yeah.
City puts up 50, revitalization puts up 50.
So works out good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Works out very good. So
anyway,
glad you were able to get that accomplished before the end of the year.
Yep.
Very, very, very good.
I think they were down. They were down right, getting close to the deadline to get that grant application in and get those letters of support. So glad to get that done.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
And, then yesterday we had AJC, who's president of the board for the Senate Bill 40 board, come in with Amanda Sapaw, who runs the Senate Bill 40 activity, the whole oversees it all. And they come in just to visit with us a little bit, nothing in particular, except that they just, the budget looked good this year, how they were going to end up, and that they'd be getting their budget ready to get to us here in January. Starting next month, we start working on budget in earnest. So did make us aware that, see, the Sheltered Workshop operates underneath the Senate Bill 40 board umbrella for funding and everything. And they are looking at trying to build a new building, just a storage building for some projects and work that they have going for their folks over there. So that'd be an interesting project to see where we can look around and find some money that could help them to get that done. So,
but they don't have those contracts at hand yet.
No.
Until they do, there'd be no sense in building a building just to build a building.
Yep. So did appreciate AJ coming in and Amanda coming in to visit with us, and look forward to getting their budget and getting all the budgets done next month and moving on.
Right. Also, something that got discovered yesterday, we had an article in your World Today yesterday about the floodplain designation maps, and of course, we reported they are available at the Denton County Courthouse, and they're the ones originally done back in 2019 and 20,
Right.
and those are the latest ones. They do not have the completed ones yet because they're not complete. You still have time to comment on those. You can go down and look at those if you want to, but they had to dig them out. But they found them.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure they had them.
Well, and it was my understanding they were going to get what was going to be the newer version that they were proposing, newer than what the 2019 was. So I don't know. It's been a kind of a strange process, and this is another thing that right in the middle of that, COVID hit, and I think has really skewed that whole process up. But at any rate, yeah. Why? But I mean, the county's not in the National Flood Insurance Program,
Right.
so they really have minimal effect on the county.
Right.
This is basically in the city where the issues arise
Right.
on these properties that are within floodplain and how it affects rates, insurance rates, and so on. And as AJ, as he was there talking about that, because he works with the bank and they get into that. So it's a big issue if you own property in town. And we're not in the floodplain, and suddenly find with new mapping that you are, and then all of a sudden you've got to buy an additional, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a year of flood insurance, and sometimes it's flood insurance for property that doesn't have a snowball's chance in Hades of flooding.
Yeah.
But
AJ did get back with me about those two properties he was telling us about. And they have been removed. But he went online. They have an updated map online that you can get. County does not have that last updated map yet.
right.
But there is a link to it online. I did send that to Angie, so she does have that at the courthouse. So in case...
I would suggest anybody in the city, go online and look at those closely.
Right.
That's going to be your best, easiest way. 'Cause
you may not have the link.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. And they...
We'll get with SEMA and we'll follow up on this
Okay,
some more,
yeah,
and
just fun.
I'll get them to explain what they're doing here. Communication wasn't very good coming from them about what this was, and and really and truly, I don't matter whether if you don't have good internet service, you'd still be probably, if you can get that link, and you want to explore how them lines affect your property, it would probably, because if you pull it up online, then you can blow it up a little bit and see everything probably better than you can even in them maps that we have. They're not real easy to delineate.
Yeah,
property
and
lines
there's not
and
just
all those
one
things.
map.
Right.
No,
Oh my God.
There's like 25 of them.
Yeah.
So-
It is.
Yeah, you have to go through it and find the right one for you. But definitely want to let
Yeah,
people
it comes
know
quite a
that's
surprise for that to hear that announcement that we had those updated maps sitting there available. And
Mm-hmm.
well, we had some maps, but I don't think they really were the latest. But
No, they weren't the latest, but they were the ones that were proposed at that time.
yeah.
But
They were the ones we were looking at the last meeting, and that they said though then that they would have the updated version that they would be putting out for people to be reviewed. Well, where's it at?
Yeah,
So
well-
I guess it's online. But at any rate,
Well, no, they should not have said that that's at the commission's office, but
yeah.
But they do have the other maps. If you want to go look and see what the proposed was, not what they're doing right now, but what they did before they
Right.
made the decisions. Now,
But
you
even
can
that
go look
even
at
that proposal was still based on outdated data. So it's kind of a strange.
Everything with the flood
Awesome.
thing is outdated data.
It is
You know-
outdated, irrelevant data.
Well,
seems like on some
here,
of it.
here's
But
the,
anyway,
here's the thing, Darrell. They do a 100-year flood, but they don't seem to update it to 100 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so they said 1965 there was a flood. It said in the 100-year floodplain. 1865. 1865 was 60 years ago.
yeah.
That's not a 100-year floodplain.
And do they really have accurate data as to where the water was in 1865?
Well, of course they do. You know they were out there
Okay.
marking that off, Darrell. They always did great work back in that time.
that's right. And I've got some oceanfront
Absolutely.
property I'd like to sell you.
All right,
Okay.
very good. I don't have anything else.
Nope, that payroll catches us up. I think that's it. I hope everyone will come out. Sounds like the weather's going to be cooperative for the parade.
Be cool.
Tomorrow will be cool, but hey, it's Christmas. I mean, it's
Be
a Christmas
cool.
parade. It should
No
be cool.
wind. The wind should be very light.
That's a wonderful
Yeah.
addition there. So hope everyone will come out and enjoy the Christmas parade. It's always a beautiful, beautiful parade.
But if they can't, they can view it online at KSMO Media.
Cool. Very good.
We have it on our KSMO Stream Facebook page and our KSMORadio.com and on our KSMO YouTube page. So if you can't make it out there, if it's just too cold, I mean, it's going to probably be in the upper 30s by the time it gets dark, I venture to say. Yeah, I get it. Hot chocolate doesn't stay hot forever.
Nope. No.
And if you would like to stay home where it's a lot warmer inside, where the hot chocolate does stay hot longer,
Yep.
you're more than welcome to watch it. There's no charge to watch it on our YouTube or Facebook or KSMO.com
Real good.
page.
Appreciate that. I expect we'll probably be up there somewhere around the courthouse with probably with some bundled up grandkids if I was a betting person. So we'll look forward to seeing it. It's always a great time, and I'm just glad it's going to be dry. It can be cool, it's fine, but as long as it's dry.
Yeah,
a little bit of rain puts a real damper on a Christmas parade. So it's going to be dry, and hopefully those all the lights will be on at the courthouse. And
There you go.
If they
That's what we hope.
They can survive the wind today, tonight, and in the morning. Why?
Yeah.
We'll get there, but we'll see.
Well, we will see. Well, we want to thank Darrell for coming in, spending some time with us, and updating you on what's going on in the county, giving you a much better idea what happened at MAC conference, because that's something that only the people really who go are going to be that familiar with. But get an idea what they do discuss. It's not just going up there and sitting around and playing cards and watching the water out there. Wouldn't that'd probably be a nice thing to do one day, but that's not what they get a chance to do. They're actually in meetings pretty much the whole time they're there.
Can honestly say I don't think I've seen the lake itself from any closer than actually seeing it from any closer than. Well, no, actually I better back up there, because on Monday morning we did eat breakfast in the. They have a breakfast for everybody at the conference, but it's a continental breakfast. They don't have biscuits and gravy on the thing. Are you kidding me? Good grief.
It's continental.
Come on. Good grief. We're going to have breakfast.
You're lucky you have toast.
I want some biscuits and gravy and some sausage or bacon, and let's have a real meal. So we did, the commissioners, we did go out and have some breakfast where we actually could see the lake. And so that was about 7. Well, we were there when the restaurant opened. First one's there when it opened at 7. Got our breakfast, and we're back up for the meetings to start at 8. That's as close as I ever got to the lake, and that's fine. I don't need to be. There's nothing the lake has for me in the middle of November anyway. June and July, yeah, we'll talk different.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Pretty cold water right now.
Yep.
Very good.
Pretty
Very
calm
good.
out there, too. Not many out there. But anyway.
Darrell pays for this program out of his own pocket. There are no tax dollars, no county funds that are expended to make this possible. And he comes in and gives you the information that's pertinent to what's going on in the county business and in great detail.
Melba squeezed some money out of me just before I come in here and sit down, Stan.
She's good at that.
She is a bill collector now. Yeah, does a great job. I do appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we do appreciate this. We also want to remind everybody, if you missed any part of the program, maybe you heard something, not quite sure you heard it right, you can always go back and listen again on our KSMO Twitch account, which is KSMOradio.com. You can go back on there, and if you give it about another hour or so, it'll be on our KSMO YouTube page. So
there you go.
There you go. If you want to catch back, it'll be there a long time.
There you go. To infinity and beyond.
Well,
something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway, I do appreciate it, Stan, and I do appreciate the opportunity. I hope folks maybe learned a little bit more about something, about the things that are going on, a little more detail we can provide. And we will be back here, about the 16th, I believe? Yep. Friday the 16th.
Friday the
16th. And that'll be our last program for 2022. Hard to believe. But anyway, I do appreciate the chance. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. I hope to see all of you up at the on 4th Street somewhere at the parade tomorrow. But until we're back here in a couple of weeks, I do hope everyone will be safe, happy, healthy. God bless each and every one of you. And